go and live our lives. It's a totally different world than what my parents grew up in. Again, still don't know what the heck I'm doing with my life, but here we are. All right, so it is week 2. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. It's week 2 of Car Chats with Sarah. Today, so this past week was a kind of better week. There were 2 kind of things that happened this week. So one of them was the fact that I talked with my coworker and she kind of shared some things with me, and she told me she lived at home till she was 29. And I'm like, okay, all right. So the feelings I have are not unusual. I'm 25. Okay, 25 in February, but let's face it, I'm 25. I've reached that point where I just want to move out, obviously. But then I did some math. Okay, well, hold on. Wait. Let me start from the beginning. So I talked to my coworker. She told me she didn't move out till she was 29 years old. She's 31 now. So I was like, okay, interesting. So I'm like, well, I don't really feel bad. I'm like, then I thought about it, and literally I know people who are in their 40s, in their 50s, and in their 30s who are moving back home with their parents or with loved ones or cousins or whatever because of the cost of living right now. And I'm in Florida, and the cost of living in Florida, I don't know how the cost of living in Florida compares. I do know we do not have a state income tax, which is why I live here, but also I'm from here, so there's that. Nashville is where I'm like, I've looked at some areas. There's a company in Nashville that I would love to work for, and I'm not going to disclose what their company is because I'm just not going to. But video production and editing and everything I could do under the sun with that. Again, still don't know what the heck I'm doing with my life, but here we are. So like, there are 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and 40-year-olds, even 50-year-olds moving back in with their family members because the cost of living has gotten so out of control. And also, your dollar doesn't go as far as it once did. So like, for example, I shared this graphic on Facebook earlier today because I was like, dude, what the heck? Our dollar in, 2000, a year after I was born, 3 baskets of groceries showing $100. What $100 look like in 2000, what $100 look like in, I think, 2008 or something, and then 2023, or maybe it was, regardless, I don't remember the dates, but I'll put the graphic here up on the screen so you guys can see it. But I'm like, okay, so I'm like, this is all validating what I basically said. And at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, so I'm like, all right, I can technically live at home for 7 more years. No, I mean, I don't really think I'm gonna do that, obviously, but things have got to get better, and unfortunately things are out of my control. So the only thing I can control is me, myself, and I, and how I spend my money. And like, I even did the math. I keep track of my finances on a spreadsheet, and so it's actually a really cool spreadsheet that I've kind of developed over time. And even like, I would have to spend, if I lived in an apartment, I would have to spend a max of $200 a month on groceries. So I'm like, I'm kind of moved on from the wanting to move out. Number 2, but yeah, so also, I have a nail in my tire too, so that's wonderful. Not really, I'm being sarcastic, but it's not wonderful. It's not surprising at this point. I thought it was the cold weather, but then my dad looked at it earlier today and he says, oh, you've got a nail. I had to fix that tomorrow morning first thing. People tell me I'm too nice, I'm not mean enough, yada, yada, yada. So people think that you can be like a jerk and get your way. Like, that's not, most people, I guess in a way, I'm of the belief, you give what you get. What goes around comes around. If you act a certain way to people, you're going to get that back. I can be stern when it's necessary, but there are way too many mean people in the world. So when you deal with somebody who's pleasant, I also worked at Publix. What do you want me to say? They're the premier customer. They are the Chick-fil-A of customer service when it comes to grocery stores. So, what do you want me to say? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm moving out or anytime soon. But people are moving back home with their parents or their loved ones at record paces, and I'm like, what am I? So I'm like, my feelings are valid. My feelings are valid then. If this is happening, if this is more than one person that feels this way, then. And it's like everything else is out of my control. The only thing I can control is how I spend the money I am given for the job that I do, and etc. That is literally you can only control yourself and what you do. You cannot control anything else. You just have to let go and let God at this point. And like I said, I did the math, and I'm like, I wouldn't even be able to afford afford rent, even if I have the money for it. Because it's like, you know, anytime the rent can go up. And then I think about this. I watched a video by Shelby Church, and she said in the video that is her 6 tips for fighting inflation. She posted this like 6 months ago. It's actually a really well done video. And so one of the things I learned from that video was that Trader Joe's is like the cheapest grocery by a lot. Now, this is for California. I don't know if it's across the board, but she compared, you know, 2 different grocery stores or whatever, and apparently Trader Joe's was like consistently lower across the board. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I looked up Trader Joe's. Well, guess where the nearest Trader Joe's is? Not close to me at all. And then I think about this, like, so I either go to the grocery store that's closest to me and pay whatever the prices are there, or I can drive the 15 or 20 minutes to what you think is the cheapest grocery store, which is Walmart, although they're not, I don't think they're the cheapest personally. And I can go and purchase that, but then you're eating up gas. My time on the weekends is so valuable. It's more valuable even than the 40 hours that I put in at work, because you only have 8 hours in each day on the weekend to dedicate to yourself, period. Having to go and drive to 10 different grocery stores just to save a little bit of money, I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, make it easy, go to the one grocery store. But the only reason that I shop at the 2 places I shop is because they're on the same shopping mall. Like, Target's over there, Publix is right there. That's the only reason I shop where I shop, period. Because they're on the same strip and I don't have to get on the main drag to go back to my house. So it's like, you know, you think about it and like, yeah, you can go and shop at all these different places where the prices are the lowest, but there's also a trade-off. Whether it's gas, whether it's, you know, time spent going there, you know, all these different things that add into it. So at the end of the day, you just have to do what's easiest for you and your lifestyle, period. Last week I wanted to move out, but then this weekend I was looking at loans for law school, being okay with being at home until I'm at least 29 years old, which, I mean, it's a totally different world than what my parents grew up in. That's just it. It is a totally different world. The world is actually worse than what my parents grew up in. And that's sad. Like, my sister and I talk about it all the time. She's like, this world is terrible. It literally is. I mean, like, there's nothing we can do about it. Literally nothing we can do about it. So we just have to be, you know, we just have to go and live our lives and make the most of our lives. And yeah, so anyway, I think this week's video is probably over for now. So I will see you guys in the next one.